So as we were sitting at the table, there was a beautiful bird in the center, surrounded by log cabins of green beans, snow-capped mashed potatoes, pools of gravy, every type of potato grown, stuffing, cobbler, with a little sliver taken out, as if no one ever would notice someone got a little frisky with the dessert. Then I have Mama, who is trying to get us all to remember all the great things about the family. At the same time, I have one of the twins on each side of me, pulling my arm, meanwhile having the largest migraine I've ever had. Cody, think. Think, Cody. How can we stop this? What is one topic that will get all the hardest to shut up? Oh, I got it. Hey, Danny Ann, tell me about James. Now, James is my granddad, on my dad's side, who I have never met. And everyone besides my dad, and sometimes Danny Ann, talks horribly about him. All went silent, as if I had cursed God or something. Nana Ann slowly sat up straight in her chair. As she cleared her throat, she began with, "Now, son, you know how you're allergic to iodine?" I replied very puzzledly, "Yes, ma'am." And for a split second, I thought she was going to drug me. "Well, son, you know how all the Hardins have a skirt problem?" As she let out a slight smile from the corner of her mouth. Then the pressure sank like the Titanic. Everyone but me knew where she was going with this statement, in stating that she was speaking of how all the Hardin boys have strong attraction to the female type. Also, how easily it is for the females to persuade us to do very stupid things. Me and James ain't been married long, and I already had your daddy. Great Granny used to watch him all the time while I worked, because I had to have two jobs, due to James not being reliable enough to keep a steady job, or him just going off somewhere gambling, or chasing them little whores around. Well, one night I had just about enough of that. I drove by the local bar, where I knew he'd be at, and I seen his car parked right beside it. No surprise to me. So, I pulled up next to his car, and I got it out. And when I was heading into the bar, I noticed that his car, well, it wasn't empty. I noticed that drunk son of a gun was in there, and he had some little blonde-haired tramp with him. You know that door opened as a gust of wind across the desert. Before she had time to think, I ripped her that car, yelling, "You little bimbo, I'll teach you to touch my man." Now, son, you better bet I got about 4 good licks on her when I heard her just a screaming, "I didn't know he had a wife." "Bet you do now, you little tramp." As we was all sitting there, just laughing, Daddy said, "Hey, Ann, why don't you tell the boy what you did to James?" Now, give me a minute. I'm getting there. Well, after I'd gotten some of my frustration out on her, I remember James was sitting in there in the car. I just dropped her to take care of him. He had a bottle of Old Thompson sitting in the seat beside him. Now, your Nana Ann, she ain't stupid. I snatched that bottle up and gave him one right across the side of the head.